There aren't any words that can properly tell you how bittersweet these days are, and the things that we would like to say to all of you. You know, I keep remembering back, and not too far, when someplace along the line there would always be a picture of a president standing in the Oval Office, looking out the window, usually the picture from behind, and he's standing there, and then his words are quoted as a tag for that picture about, "This is the loneliest place," and what a lonely, and so forth. I don't know about them. I haven't been lonely 1 minute. I think both of us have been aware every minute we're here that we're surrounded by you, by others who may not be here in this room today, but here in this house, but over there in the West Wing, well, just here in Washington, all a part of everything we came here to do, and it couldn't have been done without you. And we've all shared, and I like to think maybe it's kind of close to what happened 200 years ago. We were all revolutionaries, and the revolution has been a success. But there just aren't enough words to thank you for all that you've meant to all of us, and how hard it is to say goodbye to all of you. But as I say, the only thing that can make it bearable at all is to remember all that you did, and how much of a team we did become. And God bless you all, and as I say, there just aren't words enough to express our appreciation to all of you. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Hi, I'm Melissa, and welcome to this month's Live From at the Reagan Library. Remember, we do these on the first Wednesday of every month. We are just a few days away from the 18th anniversary of the passing of Ronald Wilson Reagan. As such, we're going to spend today's Live From talking about the week following his death. I do want to point out, though, that here at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library and Museum, we don't mourn the death of Ronald Reagan. We celebrate his life and his legacy. When choosing a location for his presidential library, Ronald Reagan specifically fell in love with this location and its beautiful vistas. He actually chose this location on the west side of our property for his memorial site. This location is home to stunning Southern California sunsets, horse trails. You can actually see the Pacific Ocean on a clear day, and an endless sky. So on June 5th, 2004, at the age of 93, with his wife and his family by his side, Ronald Reagan passed away. People left flowers and American flags and other symbols of grief at U.S. embassies around the world, at his birthplace, at his college, and of course here at his presidential library here in Simi Valley, California. On June 7th, 2004, his body was brought via motorcade here to the Reagan Library, where he lay in repose in our main lobby. Mourners from all walks of life and from around the nation came to wait in line, sometimes 12 to 15 hours in line, just to be able to file past his casket. In a 30-hour period, we had nearly 120,000 mourners here to pay their respect to President Reagan. On June 9th, 2004, his body was brought via Air Force One to Andrews Air Force Base, where it was then taken via motorcade to the Ellipse near the White House. There it was taken by a horse-drawn caisson to the U.S. Capitol, where he then lay in state. While laying in state, another 104,000 people came to pay their respects to President Reagan. Then, on June 11, 2004, around 10:30 in the morning, his casket was taken via motorcade to the Washington National Cathedral for his national funeral. That funeral was broadcast around the world. Dignitaries from 165 different countries attended the program. Eulogies at his ceremony were given by Margaret Thatcher, Brian Mulroney, and President George H.W. Bush. On that same day, June 11th, around 1:30 in the afternoon, his casket was flown back via Air Force One on his final journey back to California, here to the Reagan Library. In both D.C. and here in Ventura County, hundreds of thousands of people lined the streets to watch the funeral procession drive by and pay their final respects to the president. His motorcade with his casket arrived here at the Reagan Library just as the sun was setting on June 11th. At that interment ceremony, we had over 1,000 guests. Eulogies were given by all three family members, all three living children, Ron, Patty, and Michael. At the end of that day, he was buried here in the memorial site behind me. I'd like to remind you that if you come to the Reagan Library, you can visit the memorial site of both President and Mrs. Reagan and pay your respects in person as well. As I said in the beginning, we don't mourn the death of President Reagan, we celebrate his life, and that's why we don't hold a program or event of any kind on the anniversary of his passing on June 5th each year. Instead, we celebrate his life by honoring him on his birthday on February 6th with a large commemoration, a band, a beautiful ceremony, and of course you're welcome to join us each year. So I want to thank you for joining us today. I know this was a quick live from, but we did want to remember this very important day. We know you have a lot of choices and we appreciate you watching us. I'd like to sign off by just saying we do miss President Reagan. We think of him every day, and for me it's an honor to work here. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week.
And I know in my heart that man is good, that what is right will always eventually triumph, and that there is purpose and worth to each and every life.